Moonbeam, a layer 1 project in the Polkadot ecosystem that took the second crowd loan spot back in 2021. Of course, unfortunate timings with the release date in January 2022, as the market obviously went downhill very quickly, putting all-time highs in around $11.50 and now currently trading just below 33 cents, so a 97% decline since those all-time highs. So can it recover and offer some fantastic returns in the upcoming bull market? We'll take a look at that in this video, but of course we'll just have to wait and see. So in this video, I'm going to be covering some bullish and bearish scenarios, where I'd like to have my bags packed if I were an investor, and of course those all important TP areas for the upcoming bull run. And we are going to be covering both the USDT and the BTC pairs as well. So if you enjoy our content, please do continue to like and subscribe. We really do appreciate it. So let's take a look then. We've got the chart currently on a log scale because that just makes things look a lot easier. If we pop back onto regular, this is what it looks like, and you have to zoom right in, and yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. So if you just click on your chart, stick it on log, and that makes things a lot neater. So as we can see, 97% down from all-time high. But let's zoom in at the current price action. So we're on the weekly time frame. We've got a nice couple of weekly ranges to work off here. So we've got a lower range down here with the weekly range low at 16 cents, range high at 31.5 cents, and the mid range coming in at 20, or call it 24 cents. And then the upper range, we've got the range high at 51 cents, the mid range at 41 cents, and the range low is the same as the lower ranges at range high at 31.5 cents. So bullish and bearish scenarios. Of course, a bearish scenario would be if we were to close below this weekly range low here at 16 cents, which I believe may well be the bottom. I don't think we're going to get a close below that, barring, of course, a black swan event. I think that these lows are fairly safe. And I think this is going to be a very significant weekly close coming up. So if we can get a weekly close above this weekly range high / weekly range low of 31.5 cents, that to me, of course, means that we've deviated back inside this upper range, and it looks very bullish indeed. We may not see prices back below into this range again. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see, but it looks very bullish in my personal opinion. Of course, broke over this weekly mid-range at 23.5 cents, held it as support, and then as you can see, we are trying to break above this weekly range high / low at 31.5 cents. Break above here, confirm a support. We should see a run up to the weekly range high at 51 cents. Depending on how many times we may have to come down, retest the weekly mid-range of 41 cents before another leg up. But a break of that weekly range high at 51 cents, and I think we are off to the races. So if you take a look, just from here, this weekly range low up to the weekly range high, that is a 60% move. So in terms of packing bags, for an investor in the project, you know, if you've not been accumulating down here in this lower range between 16 and 30 cents, definitely start considering packing these bags if we get a weekly close above 31.5 cents. Because as I say, if we confirm this as support, we've deviated back into this upper range, we should see a run up to the weekly range high, if not beyond. Definitely want to have your bags packed before we test and break out of this weekly range high at 51 cents, in my opinion, because this could really accelerate quite quickly. So moving into some TPs then, and as I cover this section, a little caveat, of course, the TPs I'm going to put on the screen aren't saying that you should definitely take profits here. You can use some of them, all of them, none of them, completely up to you. They are just purely off of what the chart is going off. You can use your own strategy. How much profit you want to take when is all down to your own personal circumstances and the method, of course, as well. Maybe you want to do something simple like every round number, so every 50 cents, every dollar, something like that. Or maybe every time your bag doubles in price, something like that. Or maybe you want to use fib extensions. However you want to do it. This is just purely based on TA levels, previous levels of support and resistance. And of course, always important to take profits, or at least have a plan of when you are going to take those profits, because bull markets can be extremely emotional and euphoric, and sometimes people round trip or leave a lot of money on the table in unrealized profits and don't actually realize it. Of course, you can do three things with taking profits. You can either diversify into other projects, you can reinvest on dips. So BTC often gives 30% pullbacks in bull markets, so you can TP some of your position at a level of resistance, hoping to buy back at level support and either increase your dollar amount or the amount of the asset itself. And thirdly, of course, you can take it out into your bank, buy something nice, or of course put it towards those horrible taxes. So always worth taking profits. You never go broke taking profits. Certainly have a plan. So with all that out of the way, let's take a look at where I would be looking at some potential TP levels. So as I say, I think once we break out 51 cents, it should be quite a fast move beyond that. Now, these first two levels are purely, I would suggest for swing bag trading. So what we like to say in learning crypto is if you have trouble holding on to a bag, and you're scared of selling too early, or that you want to try and take advantage of the swings of the big pullbacks, like I mentioned with BTC dropping 30%, then have a swing bag. So maybe you take 20% of your bag and you out of staking, and you just purely use that for swing trading to, as I say, try and build up a position. And that way you still got 80% of your bag, and it doesn't matter if you can't re-enter that 20%. So that's what these levels I would suggest be used for, 80 cents and $1.40. So if we take a look at current day prices, a run up to 82 cents is 157%. And a run to the next level up to $1.40-ish is about 350%. So as I say, maybe we break out the range, hit 80 cents, come back down, retest 50 cents as a level of support. So you can sell some of your bag there, rebuy there, and away we go. Or alternatively, or as well as, we hit $1.40 as a level of resistance, come back down, test 80 cents, 85 cents as support, and as I say, you can refill your bag down there. And if you only use a small percentage of your bag, if you don't get that chance to re-enter, then so be it. It doesn't matter too much because you've still got a vast majority of your bag left to go. In terms of real TPs then, once things really start moving, let's take a look at what levels I would have after that. So first big level for me is this level here, about $2.20. You can see it was the bottom back here in February and March 2022. Decent level of support before it gave another leg higher up to around $5. It was an important level. Once we lost that, it was all downhill from there. So a return from current day prices to that level of around $2.30. You're looking at a 600% return. Definitely start looking at taking some profits there. I think some serious profits. Even if it's only 10% of your bag, 600%, you've made a 6x. Don't get too greedy. We don't know how well Moonbeam, or how badly Moonbeam may do in this bull market. We've got no previous data. All we're going off is obviously the levels of decline from the release date in 2022. So who knows where it could go or may not go as the circumstance may be. But definitely take profits along the way. You don't go broke taking profits. Next TP for me would be this level up here at $5.18. So it's quite a jump from $2.30 up to $5.50. But in terms of higher time frames, can't really see any other levels of resistance. And that a return from today's prices up to there is 1,500%. So a huge level and huge returns as well if we were to get back up there. So as I say, if you've not taken any profits and we don't make it up to there and you round trip back, you're not going to be too happy. So definitely look at securing some profits along the way. The last two would be, if we really do get back to those all-time highs. So you got a level slightly higher, about $6.20, which was the top here around January, February 2022. So a return from today's prices up to there, you're looking at 1,800%. And then finally, the all-time highs back here. We have got another level in a minute, which we'll go to the daily time frame for. But this level on the weekly time frame, the top of this candle from January 2022 on the release, $10.50. And as you can imagine, a huge return from today's prices. You're looking at 3,000%. Are we going to get that? Who knows? But if we do, I would certainly be looking at taking some profit. So if we ignore the first two, because as I say, they're more swing trade targets. If we take a look from the first TP up here at $2.25, if you only take 10% at each of these levels, that's 10, 20, 30, 40%, you've still got 60% of your position that you've been accumulating down here in the low 20, 30, 40 cents areas, and you're now looking at $8, $9, $10 or $10 plus. You've got plenty there, but you've also secured some profit along the way. If we just quickly go down to the daily time frame, so the actual level of all-time highs for me is around $16, as you can see, $16.25. It's actually a bit higher than I thought, but yeah, you can imagine that is a monster return. So let's zoom out a little bit, take a look at what return to that level is, you're looking at about 5,000%, which is absolutely insane. So if we do get those prices, you definitely want to be securing the bag. You don't want to be round tripping something like that. So that's the USDT pair out the way. Let's get into the BTC pair. So once again, we're on the log scale, makes things a lot neater and tidier. So as you can see, it looks like we're forming an accumulation range here, which is very good to see. The bottom down here so the actual bottom is about 539 sats, but we've got this weekly level here, this weekly range low at 600 sats, mid range coming in at 834 sats, range high at 1068 sats. So again, don't want to see a weekly close below this weekly level at 600 sats, which I don't think we will. I think we're going to accumulate in this range for however long, and then once we break out of the 1000 sats area, then we are off to the races. So definitely start looking at getting those bags packed. You don't want to be scrambling for a position once we get above 1000 sats. So in and around here, still a great price point. Even just a run from today's prices up to the weekly range high, that's nearly a 50% move, a 50% return on your Bitcoin, not to be sniffed at all. Now, this has pretty much just been a straight line down from the release date all the way down, so it's a little difficult to pick out decent levels of of TP, but I've got a few here, as you can see. Before we get again to the real important one, so we've got a few. Again, might be easier just to go off big round numbers, so every 500 or 1000 sats, so starting at maybe 1000 sats, 2000 sats, 3000 sats, etc. Or we have got these levels on the charts that you can see. So this level of previous support here around 1800 sats, let's take a look at what that would be, a return from today's prices. That's 150%. You've got this level of previous support and resistance up here around 2500 sats. Again, let's just take a quick look. That is 250% return. This level here, a small mini range that we've got between 4000 sats and 4500 sats. Let's just take a quick look. You're looking at 440 to 530% return on your Bitcoin. And then you get into the big levels of resistance here at 6000 sats, where we had this big level of support back in February and March 2022, and then even in April and May 22, and then that was the down candle that started this cascade. So that's going to be a huge level of resistance in my opinion, and a return to from today's prices up to that point of about 6000 sats, 700% return on your Bitcoin, not to be sniffed at all. That is a huge return. Final two TP areas, you can probably guess where they are. So this level of resistance up here at 11,000 sats, which was the top of March and April 2022. A return from those prices is 1400%. And then finally, the all-time highs up here are around 25,000 sats, and you are looking at a return of 3,200% on your Bitcoin. Now, as I said before, we've got no idea how well Moonbeam is going to do in this next cycle. Is it going to retrace all of this move? We don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. But if you take profits along the way, then you're not going to be too disappointed. I wouldn't be hanging on, waiting for these all-time highs and beyond, because they may never come. The best example of that is, of course, ADA BTC, which I like to cover quite often or use as an example. If we take a look at ADA BTC on the monthly time frame, we can see that in 2017-2018, the ADA BTC all-time high was 8,800 sats. In the 2021 bull run, it only made it up to about 6,000 sats. So, as I say, you don't want to be that person that's accumulating down here at 400-500 sats, waiting to get up to an all-time high of 8,000 sats. You never get up there. You only get to 6,000. You do a 10x, and then you round trip that all the way back down. So you don't want to be that person. Take profits along the way, and if the all-time highs never come or don't break, at least you've taken some profit. So hope you enjoyed the video. Drop in the comments below if there's any projects you'd like us to cover, and we will certainly get round to them. So have a good week, and I'll see you on the next one.